if you create the conditions for a coup to take place, you have public support. You know, if you do, that was the accusations of the then Prime Minister Süleyman Demirel in 1980. He, when asked about assessing this public support for the coup, he said, well, I blame the army, he said, for this public support. They did not, before the coup, yes, there was anarchy in the streets, I agree, but they wanted arms. I gave them arms. They want ammunitions. I gave them ammunitions. They wanted martial law. I gave them martial law. They wanted authority. I gave them authority. What happened? They did not stop the bloodshed in the streets. There was bloodshed in the streets on 11th of September, but there was no bloodshed on the streets on the 12th of September, the day of the coup. So that was his line of thinking. I don't think this is irrational. I don't think this is illogical. That makes sense. So popular support behind the coups mean nothing, really. They are constructed, they are created. However, when you come to the question of the effects of this 1980 coup, or the special position or the special characteristics of the 1980 coup, it was the most brutal coups in Turkey's coup history in terms of imprisoning the left liberal intellectuals of this country, as well as the activists as well. Not only left liberal, but also right-wing thinkers and intellectuals to some extent. But it was basically aimed at the left-wing liberal intellectuals. So it's a very important coup because it killed the life veins of Turkey's left liberal intellectual stream, the streak, if you like. This was an important coup because it actually, by imprisoning the Kurdists, the Kurdish nationalists, the Diyarbakir prison incidents, it reproduced, it caused the Kurdish issue to come up in the coming years, in the future, in a different modality with more radical claims, in a sense, because of the brutality of the tortures that the Kurdish nationalists were subjected to in the Diyarbakir prison. It was a very important coup because it made Turkey what it is today in terms of the economic culture, the unfettered running of the free market, the consumption society, a society that lives of imports, or a society that lives like the Westerners do. Gated communities, fantastic shopping malls, unfettered market economy, and to some extent, of course, it created some inequality. But I would not here use the left jargon or the leftist jargon and say 1980 coup actually is responsible for the inequality in income in Turkey, because if there is inequality, if there is poverty in this country, definitely there is poverty, but there is also more wealth created in the country. It's a double process. It's a very complicated process that's going on. That's why the left cannot really stand on its feet right now. It created this complicated process. Neoliberal economy and neoliberal ways of living, or liberal ways of living. It also is responsible to some extent for Turkey's new Islamism, neo-Islamism, changing its face. This is an Islam that has nothing to do with the 70s Milli Selamet Partisi kind of Islam, which wanted to change everything, the state, the society, individuals, everything, Islamicize the society. That was the 70s. But the ones that came up, Refah experience in the 1990s, is different. It sticks to modernity to some extent. It sticks to neoliberalism, the market economy, and it tries to share, in a sense, the wealth of the country. So Refah started the trend, AK Partisi and Anatolian, tigers and whatever, the Anatolian bourgeoisie continued the same trend. They want to have a share of the cake. So it's a very important coup d'etat. But if you ask me what one word or one trend I would identify it with, I would say brutality. It was a brutal, very brutal coup d'etat that really suffocated Turkey's left and Turkey's liberal movements. They're privileged. They have a special ideology. They are the guardians of the republic. Why should they mingle with the ordinary crowd? There is this elitism in it as well. I'm not saying it exists in each and single individual, but it exists as an institutional ethos. In the institutional ethos, there is this elitism, that they are different, that they shouldn't ride on the normal buses and so forth. Many reasons. One is they give financial. There are more. I can think of more reasons, like fear of being shot at, insecurity, safety, safety considerations also. What if they live among us? What if they are faced with an attack? Sort of violent attack by anti-militarist groups. I guess that is a possibility, that for an army that is that politicized, this is a possibility, and therefore I do think this is a rightful cause for them to live in insulated barracks, insulated compounds. OYAK is created as for a good cause, right? After 1960, to supplement the income and the benefits of the military officers, but it's turned into a giant holding, uncontrollable. Although it is audited by Sayıştay, by the auditing office, just like any other holdings, the fears among Turkey's intellectuals relating to OYAK is more, let's say, psychological than maybe financial. Psychological advantages that it has over the other companies, over the other holdings in dealing in the business world. OYAK has a special position in the eyes of Turkey's business community because it's the militarists. So given the polarization in the country between, pro-state, Kemalist, CHP, military, pro-military groups and the other, there is this, I guess, fear that they have undue advantage over the others in making their business deals. Secondly, in auditing, I'm told that there is again an undue advantage psychologically, because the auditing office, when it comes to OYAK, they may not be as fastidious as they do. It also creates advantages for the military personnel, obviously, in purchasing cars, etc. And what OYAK is a capitalist organization holding what it has as profits, with the profits it receives at the end is also shared, partition among the military community. Well, there are some question marks about the representation of non-commissioned officers, as-subaylar. They complain about not being represented on the OYAK boards, the board of executive boards, etc. So there are some internal matters, some internal, hierarchical matters relating to OYAK. But regarding OYAK being a capitalist holding, it has, I guess, it does exist, and it uses the military money, military funds for investments, and it may not be a desirable thing as such, but in many countries in the world, there are military holdings. If you start reading, what we need to do is not to abolish it, not to eliminate, but to regulate it, to make sure that it's regulated properly, just like the other